Okay, welcome back. This is lesson 35, and it's from Revelation 16, uh, verses 17 to 21. And it's the last of the seven plagues. The seventh angel pours out his bowl of wrath on the earth. So, um, reading from Revelation 16, 17 to 21. The seventh angel poured out his bowl into the air, and out of the temple came a loud voice from the throne saying, "It is done." Then there came flashes of lightning, rumblings, peals of thunder, and a severe earthquake. No earthquake like it has ever occurred since man has been on earth. So tremendous was the quake. The great city split into three parts, and the cities of the nations collapsed. God remembered Babylon the Great and gave her the cup filled with the wine of the fury of his wrath. Every island fled away, and the mountains could not be found. From the sky, huge hailstones of about 100 pounds each fell upon men, and they cursed God on account of their plague of hail, because the plague was so terrible. So so terrible, it's hard to imagine. 100-pound hailstones. I don't know what a 100-pound hailstone. I'm guessing it'd be a couple feet in diameter uh, to be that heavy. I don't know. I've never weighed it, but it's a lot of weight. So it's poured out upon the earth and the air, and in these verses we see God's that God replies to the poisoning of the atmosphere with a great shaking up of the earth. In fact, the greatest quake that the world has ever seen, it says. Now, it doesn't give us a Richter scale or anything like that, but I don't know what the highest reading on a Richter scale was. They're open ended, so they can go on and on, up and up and up. But I have no idea what the highest Richter scale reading has been on Earth, but this is far, far greater than whatever that would be. If somebody wants to Google that, that's fine. But at this time, God will also judge Babylon the Great, the city which represents a false church. And we will see the judgment in in the next two chapters as we go through this book of Revelation. And the earthquake, it says here, that splits the city of Jerusalem is also accompanied by a terrible storm of hail, great chunks of ice weighing over 100 pounds that fall from the sky, killing and destroying at random uh, mankind and destroying the earth. Again, this is an example of a catastrophe so great, uh, it's just hard to imagine. It's so large, and the proportion is just unfathomable, and yet it takes place. Now, has not been good news through these seven plagues, but it's not all bad through the book of Revelation. It gets better. We got a couple more chapters to go through that things are not uh, really good, but at the end it gets better. And one thing we learn from the book of Revelation, in the end, Jesus wins. So there is good news. This is the end. It's not the end of the book of Revelation, uh, but it's the end of the terrible judgments that will come upon the earth. And there's one event out of the seven bowls of the wrath of judgment that John will will be detailed for us in the next two chapters. So we'll get some more details on that, and we'll find out about the destruction of Babylon the Great. But after that, Jesus will reveal himself, and he'll reveal his power and reveal his glory. and he will be seen by the whole world. Everyone will see, just as the scriptures have been predicting for a long time. Now, we're finding the wrath of God, but it's by the grace of God, not his judgment, that has brought you and I, us Christians, from death into life. And it's his grace that invites a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And in our day and age, we still have the opportunity, before all these things take place that we're talking about, we still have the opportunity to accept Jesus as Lord and Savior. We have the chance to make all things new and live through these things. And as the world is plunged into these terrible things at the last, yet even though the world is falling out of control, you and I can stand firm upon the grace and righteousness of God and of Jesus Christ. And that's the good news. And so we're going to leave it there, and then we'll start our next lesson in Revelation chapter 17. Thank you for joining me. God bless you all.